story for a second. So pretty much hundreds of thousands of Israelite people have just given up their homes and all their possessions and have followed at this point, convicted murderer into the desert, right? Because he killed the overseer and everything. So, anyways, they're following this guy, and, that is a massive change when you think about it, because for the past several hundred years, their entire nation has lived in Egypt, which is an extremely powerful and influential civilization, right? I mean, they were oppressed, however, they had shelter, they had food, they were persecuted and looked down upon, so that's why they left, right? So, as they're following Moses into the desert, they have to remember that by themselves, they're not going to get anything done, because as people, everyone is flawed, and therefore they're going to stumble, they're going to be misled, they're going to fall down, and they're going to screw up, right? However, like these two just talked about, they had this pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire by night that led them and showed them the right way. God shows you the right way when you listen. So, I think we can apply that to all of our lives, because each one of us faces change and transition on a daily basis in a small way, but then maybe in a huge basis overall, right? Looking for a new job, looking for a new house, finding new friends. For the three of us here, transitioning to college, that's massive, We never lived by ourselves until, next year we're going to have to do that. So, to change successfully, we have to always have our ears and our eyes looking for God's signs. We'd be looking for that pillar of cloud and that pillar of fire that's protecting us and that is there for us. So, now, I also want you now to imagine in the massive Egyptian sun, over the horizon, hundreds of fierce-looking chariot riders who are probably very efficient killers coming towards you because they're very mad that you're leaving their nation, because God ordained Pharaoh's heart. So that, what does that represent in your lives? Does that represent anxiety, maybe? Doubt? And what does that cause? That causes tremendous fear and doubt and, discouragement. So now, they've just left their homes, trying to find the promised land, and all of a sudden this massive army is coming to try and kill them, to track them down, So, they're looking towards the pillar of light to guide them, and the fire does protect them. So okay, well, that's good. We'll try and get out in the morning the next day. However, then there's the quintessential obstacle that, we face in our daily lives too, but they actually face the Red Sea. On one side is this massive onrushing army of people that are going to try and kill them, and then there's a sea. Things don't look too positive at this point, right? So, I'm sure the Bible talks about how immense fear and doubt kind of spread into their minds. We followed Moses at this point. Now what's going to happen? We're separated by the sea from the promised land, from everything else. But then what does God do? He parts the sea. Think about that for a second. I think most of us have maybe seen the movie Prince of Egypt. The part where they show the sea being parted is pretty cool. But that animation, I'm guessing. I'm just going to take a guess here and say that the actual event was probably a lot cooler than the movie. But so let's apply it to our lives again. What's the obstacle in your way? Is it maybe some fear or doubt or guilt stopping you from achieving a better spiritual life, for example? Or maybe restoring a relationship with someone else, or stopping you from doing something you want to do? It can be applied to a ton of stuff. Alright, and so now imagine what is the parting of the sea in your lives? What allows you, what does God do that allows you to kind of reach the other side, if you will? The side that will be better and the side that you want to reach. It's maybe a friend, maybe a friend helps you out. Maybe they don't know what they're doing, but they're helping you out, and that allows you to kind of go across the boundary. Maybe it's a Bible verse that holds true to you and means a lot to you. Makes you think, it makes you kind of account for what you've done and what you can kind of change. Maybe it's reaching outside. And there's a lot of things. For me, I've had this wonderful youth group, Kristen, Kyle, Lindsay, and my two pals over here that have really helped me over the past couple of years. And that's kind of helped part my seed. Because growing up, especially in Hong Kong, the city's kind of run more by money than by ethics, I guess sometimes. So it can be hard. As Drew said, there can be a lot of storms. And when you have a nice group like my youth group and my friends here, bridge the border. So, I've done this joke before, but I'm going to do it again anyways. But I'm going to close this with a quote from C.S. Lewis in The Family Tree. It's a very short one, and I think it applies very well, because as C.S. Lewis was very sick, someone close to him said goodbye to him, thinking that they would never see him again. But this made C.S. Lewis think, and he said, Christians never say goodbye, because death is not the end, right? Even if there's obstacles, even if there seems to be a dead end right in front of you, and terror and anxiety and an army of chariots behind you, that's not the end. And I think that comes from the fact that that all came from Christ, because Christ was resurrected, and his death was not the end. So, God won't say goodbye to us. God won't leave us. God won't let the pillar of fire in the cloud and the night, go away. He won't leave us, even when it seems dark, when we're in the desert surrounded by enemies and terrible situations. Yeah. Thank you very much.